lovely people. Let's try this again. So yes, I do have a story time for you. Tying into that candle in the window. Now, if you've watched any of my ancient years ago videos, when I first got this house, I keep saying, I don't want to be home alone. This room scares me. And I always wanted to keep the door closed. And that's still true. But I've been working in here an awful lot, so it's kind of gotten more to my feeling, I guess. Just don't want to set anything on fire here. Anyhow, so, I was home alone. I was on the phone with my sister. This happened last week sometime. I don't remember what day it was. Probably last Thursday or something. I was on the phone with my sister and I was painting my nails. And I had just finished one hand and I screwed the cap back on, set it down on the carpet, which I know is a terrible idea, but I made sure it was closed. Because I was laying on the carpet on the phone. Like I'm in 1979 and just on the rotary phone with the... Anyhow, I got up to go into the kitchen for something. I don't remember what. I was only in there for probably 30 seconds, right? And then the doorbell rings, and that always scares me so much because it's loud and it's basically right in the living room where the doorbell is. So even if we have the pizza guy coming over, I'm like mentally prepping myself for the doorbell to go off because it's kind of terrifying. So the doorbell rings and I'm like, who is here? I'm not expecting anyone. So I go to the door and I'm like, I'm not wearing people clothes, of course. I'm in my house. Like, I'm not ready to answer the door to anyone. So I'm looking outside and I can't see anything. So I waited like a minute hoping that they just left. And then I opened the door and it was just a package. I had ordered something. I think it was this, because my other ring broke that looked just like this. But before it broke, I decided to order another one exactly like it because I knew it was going to break. So it was the UPS guy. And I'm on the phone with her and I'm like, oh my God, I was so worried. I didn't know who it was. And then I go back to finish my other hand and my bottle nail polish is just missing. I'm looking around. I'm like, what the hell? And then up against the far wall, probably 6 or 8 feet from where I'd been sitting, was the bottle. On the ground. Open. And there was these 3 scratches in the wall with nail polish in them. Like somebody had forcefully taken something, like probably not even the brush, it's too soft, and scratched 3 marks in the wall. And there was 3 marks all across the carpet and then up the wall like this. And I'm freaking out. I'm going, what just happened? I couldn't have kicked it. Like, it was closed. If I'd kicked it, it wouldn't have been everywhere. So I'm, like, visibly concerned. I'm like, okay. I've watched enough Ghost Adventures to know that the 3 mark is usually a negative entity, and we're not going to use the D word. So I'm, like, freaked out, and she's like, what's going on? And I'm just, like, explaining the entire scenario, and I'm like, okay, well, this bottle's open, I gotta find the cap, like, where the hell did the cap go? And I'm looking, and I moved the couch, and I moved all the laundry, and I'm looking outside, I'm like, maybe I walked away, set it on something. I went and retraced all my steps into the kitchen, into the bedroom, into the bathroom. It's just gone. And I'm getting, like, physically upset while I'm on the phone with her. And she's like, that's not cool. You know what that could mean? And I'm like, yeah, I know what that could mean. And so I just start cleansing the hell out of my house while I'm on the phone with her going, get the fuck out. I don't know what this is, but get the fuck out. And, I'm like, okay, well, my boyfriend came home 10 minutes later, and I still can't find the lid to this stupid nail polish bottle. I'm like, well, even, like, I tried to scrub the stupid wall from where the marks were, and it's indented into the sheetrock, like scratched into the sheetrock. And it was already dry by the time I got there. And I literally had gotten up, gone to the kitchen, answered the front door, and come back. No more than, like I say, a minute and a half. So it had to happen when I went in the kitchen. So I'm scrubbing at it, and it won't come off. It's still on the wall, and I need to fix it. So I finished doing that. My boyfriend comes home. I'm telling him, hey, this thing happened. It's really freaking me out. And he's like, oh man, some kid must have come in here and painted on the wall and then stole the lid. What? Like, you... Yeah, mentioning that, he is like not just a skeptic. He just wholly disbelieves everything supernatural, which kind of makes working my witchcraft a little bit of a pain in the ass, because I'm like, I'm here in the zone and I'm like, okay, I've got this spirit over here and I've got this spirit over here and I can feel this, and I walk into a place and I feel the energy here and there. And then if I just dare to watch a ghost show of any kind and there's a medium or an empath walking in there going, oh yes, someone died over here, his name was so-and-so, I can hear him, blah blah blah, he's just like, he just says a bunch of really untasteful things, and he doesn't believe in any of it. So he would rather believe that a kid ran upstairs, opened the door, came in, stole my nail polish, went and painted on the wall, dripped it on the floor, left it there and left. And I told him, you know, if it was a kid, they would have come in and drew a dick on the wall or painted butts. And they would have taken, I don't know, my laptop, or they wouldn't have just come in and painted on the wall. Anyhow, so I was absolutely convinced it was some sort of entity that came in, and I talked to some of my friends about this, and I went over the fact that I didn't feel anything negative, and I kind of pride myself on my feelings like that. So it was super, super confusing. And so, after another hour of searching, I was like, you know what the hell? And I dumped out a laundry basket that had been sitting there in the living room the whole time. And we had both agreed, my sister and I, and my boyfriend, even though less so, that stupid brush was gonna be somewhere really fucking weird. It was at the bottom of the laundry basket, under all the laundry. Not just like sticking out one of the holes if it miraculously hit the wall and then went into one of the holes without painting any of the laundry. No, it was at the bottom, under everything. Yikes. I would really be sad if I broke this cup. So that was day one. And then we came home the second day after I did some more extensive cleansing, thus the candle, because we kind of decided that it was coming from this room and it might have just been wanting attention. There was a lot of options that we went through. And the next day we came home and there was another scratch, deeper this time, but shorter, only like that long, in the kitchen above the sink. Like, we have the sink and then two cabinets up here. And the scratch was in, like, it's not wallpaper, of the cabinet, like it was on the wood. But it was really deep, and it was dripping wet paint. Now, we were like, maybe it's leaking from the sink, but it's on a cabinet that's not even attached to the same counter. Nothing else was dripping, just the scratch dripping wet paint, and my boyfriend's nails are still stained with that paint that we touched because it was wet. So that was the second day. And individually, I could probably write these off, but every time I walk out in the living room, I see those scratches on the wall, and I get a little upset. So, yeah, that's been my last week experience. That's why the candle dripping all the way down the wall was kind of concerning to me because that kind of candle doesn't do that. Kind of just melts evenly and then pools in the middle. And it's a white candle. I thought it'd be, symbolic to put it up in the window. It's a white candle. I did several different kinds of smoke cleansings. I did some sound cleansing. I haven't done the doors again because I go around and I have a spray. I should put rosemary in it, but it has the spray that I mentioned before. I've done the windows and doorways to try and keep stuff out. So I've done a lot of visualization cleansing, but I need something more permanent, and I don't have a lot of money right now, so I haven't gone out and bought any special crystals or anything. My amethyst is in the car. It's a big chunk of amethyst that's in the car for protection for the car. I don't really know what to do. The last few days, it's been better. I don't think there's been any incidents in the last few days. I feel like it's kind of calmed down. But any input would be great. But so far, I think it's kind of chilled out. Could have just been looking for attention, and it got its attention. So anyway, that's all for the story time, and it just reinforces why I don't want to be home alone. What am I drinking? I think it's coffee, but there is a bunch of grounds in the bottom. Okay, I'm done with that. All right, well, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. If you have any unusual, maybe, protection/cleansing ideas for the house, that would be awesome. I'm not entirely sure it's straight up negative. That's why I don't really want to do anything like a violent cleansing, because I don't feel like I say, I didn't feel any negativity at all. This room is sometimes really heavy. It is, I'm not gonna lie. But when that happened, not really. So, any ideas would be great. I'm fine. None of us got hurt, so we're good for now. But I would like to make the house more safe. And I don't really have, I know you're supposed to put a big rock inside the front door and a lot of wives' tale things that I know of, but as I said, I don't really have a lot of resources, so any ideas would be wonderful. Thank you in advance, and everybody have an amazing day. I will see you next time.